The Obama administration wants Florida to stop removing ineligible voters from its rolls. And here to tell us why is Political Diary contributor Matthew Payne. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks for having me.
So the state of Florida is suing the Obama administration and vice versa over these Florida's efforts to stop people from voting illegally. Matt, let's start with the Florida suit. What is the state alleging here?
Well, the state wants access to a voter database called SAVE from the Department of Homeland Security. They've been trying to get this voter database from the Obama administration, from the Department of Homeland Security, since 2011. And that data includes the names and citizenship statuses of millions of Florida residents. And so the election is around the corner. Governor Rick Scott wants to expedite this process, and so yesterday he announced he's taking it to a federal lawsuit in federal court.
Okay, and what is the claim by the Obama administration?
Well, the Obama administration. Well, first of all, the reason Florida wants to access that DHS database is because they want to compare the list of DHS citizenship data to the state voter rolls to see if there's any non-citizens potentially voting. Now, Eric Holder and the Obama administration apparently don't want to see that happen. Florida's crime was supposedly, and this is the lawsuit from the Department of Justice, Florida's crime was to check its own voter rolls against the state's DMV records.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Holder, the Department of Justice, is saying that you can't change voter rolls but within 90 days of an election, and Florida's got a primary coming up in August, so they're saying that's one thing that Florida's done wrong here. And secondly, they're saying that the state should not have used the Department of Motor Vehicles to check against voter registration, because that amounts to a change in voting rules, which violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Florida is one of those states that has to have any change in its voting rules approved by the Justice Department in advance. So the Justice Department is making two claims here, correct?
Right, two claims, right. The first was, as you mentioned, Section 8 of the National Voter Registration Act, and the other was Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, both of which have been brought up by members of Congress as being bunk, essentially, that the Department of Justice shouldn't be claiming these things. There's all sorts of arguments that are going to be going on in the next few months.
Yeah. So now, opponents of what Florida is doing say that the exercise here, the attempt to purge the voting rolls of ineligible voters, hasn't turned up many ineligible voters. And in fact, there have been a bunch of false positives, a bunch of people who the state initially claimed were ineligible, but in fact were. What do you say to those critics, or what is Florida saying to those critics?
Right. Well, of about 182,000 potential illegal voters or ineligible voters, Florida sent roughly 3,000 letters to citizens who they thought were the most likely to be illegal voters. Some of those voters have been confirmed U.S. citizens, and you've heard a lot of backlash. Well, some of these people have been World War II veterans, and it's really not fair that Florida is telling them that they're potentially illegal voters and they have to confirm their citizenship. I think that so far there have been changes. There have been charges that Florida is telling these World War II veterans that they think they're not registered to vote, and saying they may kick them off the voting rolls. But as I think I mentioned earlier, they found roughly 100 voters who voted illegally in the past. And in such a close race and in such a crucial state, it's probably prudent to make sure that the election has some sort of integrity. And
yeah. Well, I'm not so sure that there's a critical mass of illegal aliens in Florida trying to vote, Matt. But what's more disturbing to me is that the Justice Department of the United States isn't interested in catching those who are. And it's sort of a piece with other evidence of indifference to ballot integrity, I'll put it kindly, that we've seen out of this Justice Department. I would also throw in the voter ID laws that Eric Holder and Justice don't like. It just seems like there's no interest in ballot integrity here, and further politicization of the Justice Department. But
right, they're playing political games is what they're doing.